What's good, y'all? Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, hey, I'm Aisha, and welcome to my channel. Today, we are going to be talking about something I feel like we all go through in our 20s, which is unlearning things in our 20s. This is a big, place or a big time in our life, a huge era in our life where we are learning and unlearning, and I know for damn sure that's what I've been doing. So, if you feel like you relate with anything that I say, want to share any thoughts or experiences that you've gone through, I would absolutely love to hear it. So, comment down below. And yeah, let's get into it. So, the first thing I want to touch on, and also, if I do say you, I am kind of like referring to myself, like my past versions of myself or younger version. I'm just speaking solely off of my lived life experiences and hoping that it reaches people that it needs to reach. But yeah, let's get into it and let's do this. So, the very first thing I want to touch on is unlearning urgency and rushing everything. I feel like I've just been so used to living in go mode, like especially growing up, like in the environment I grew up in. Even now, sometimes I feel like I put myself in go mode, even when there's nothing that's actually urgent. I've had to remind myself that I don't have to rush my day. I don't have to rush my morning to be productive. If it takes longer, it takes longer. Like how fast you do things doesn't automatically create a better outcome, if that makes sense, or bring it a better result. I used to make myself feel like if I wasn't moving fast enough, I was falling behind, like I was failing, or I'm leaving room for failure in some way. Now I'm just trying to be better about letting things take the time that they take. I've learned that the more I have slowed down and allow myself to rest and reflect more, the more intentional I was being in the steps I was taking, and the better outcome, I would receive a better outcome that way, because oftentimes when I was rushing, I was leaving room for mistakes. And yes, mistakes allows us to learn, but some mistakes do not need to be made. You feel like we could prevent some of that shit. I feel like rushing does opposite of bringing you peace, right? Because I feel like if you're anxiously driven like me, my anxiety makes me want to move quickly and move fast and feel like I need to do in order to be valued in some way. But no, it's okay for me to tell my mind, I desire, like we all in a way, like I know for me for sure, I desire some softness in my life because I've always like ran in my masculine energy where I'm constantly doing no rest, no breaks, always feeling like I need to provide for all others. I always need to produce something. But if I want to achieve that softness, I need to ignore that side of my brain that says you should be doing more. No, because sometimes less is more. And allowing rest or pauses, slow moments or mornings or days doesn't mean that we're falling behind. It's just that that itself could be a good day because it allowed you to just be reflective and more intentional. At least that's how I feel. I feel like I'm able to see things more clearly. And I'm also somebody who really struggles with when I start something, I have to finish it. But sometimes I start too many things because, like I said, when you're in go mode, you feel like you need to do A, B, C, D, whatever the hell. And whenever I don't finish something, I feel like I have wasted time. And it's okay not to finish what you've planned. That doesn't mean you're not going to get it finished. And it doesn't mean that your time that you spent on it was wasted. Like at least you started on it and you put energy towards it. So that's enough. I'm realizing in my life that for it to be meaningful, it doesn't have to be full of urgency. This kind of ties in with the second topic, which is unlearning that productivity equals your worth. I feel like growing up, like for me, I believe that my value came from hustle, output, doing. I felt like in order to seek approval from my family members, those who were raising me, people around me, friends or family, I had to constantly do. The more I did, the more they would view me in a positive way. It would push me further into burnout. I feel like I was constantly pushing myself to be something, to be someone, to be seen as someone worthy and valuable. I used to feel guilty and tell myself that rest was something that needs to be earned. But as I grew up, I learned that your rest does not need permission. Honestly, your rest is necessary. It is just as productive because when you're allowing yourself rest and recovery, time to recharge, you are more likely to become more dysregulated and take steps, say things, do things ungrounded, and it creates more errors or issues or problems, like things that you need to fix. It just creates more chaos in your life. I don't measure my day by how much I've got done anymore. I learned that a good day could literally look like me getting up, brushing my teeth, doing my hair, doing my makeup, and going for a walk. That could be a good day. It doesn't have to be me freaking doing X, Y, and Z, like a whole extravagant list of fucking things. What really mattered was being emotionally regulated and rested and more present. That is what mattered more than checking all these boxes. You're doing things more intentionally, and it comes from a better place, and it lays a more solid foundation without any cracks. I feel like God brings seasons in our life to slow us down. Like, whether that is pregnancy, whether that is parenthood with your kids, whether that is you breaking a bone or sickness or losing your job, whatever the case may be. I feel like if you believe in God like I do, that's what He does. Based on whatever you believe in, I feel like things happen that are meant to slow us down. So we are able to reconnect with ourselves and be still with ourselves, be present with what is going on in the inside. Because when you don't like work with your inner world, it disrupts your outer world. And for me, that's what brought depression and anxiety, because it just all feel like too much. But when I allowed myself to sit and rest, I was able to sit and feel my emotions more. Sometimes it was hard. It was not always easy. It's uncomfortable. But the more you do it, the more it becomes comfortable, and you are able to find things that help you regulate those emotions. So when you are doing daily tasks or working towards goals and it gets to be too much, you know how to recenter yourself. I'm learning that I don't have to earn rest or worth by burning myself out first. Oh my gosh, this next one has been very hard for me to like unlearn. If you're a perfectionist, and y'all know this can be a struggle, unlearning perfection before starting something. Now, I've wanted to post content for the longest. I'm sure a lot of us do. I've always dabbled in content creating, or even honestly just recording myself with a little camcorder as a little sixth grader. Like, I've always had a passion for this, recording and talking to the camera, acting as if I'm talking to myself or to people. As an adult, my perfectionism gets in the way all the time because I feel like I have to record a certain way. My content needs to look a certain way. I have to say things a certain way for it to reach people. But really, I have learned that starting imperfectly is still starting. And honestly, no matter what we do, like even when I was teaching, you are going to start imperfectly. And honestly, that is what brings the greater success most times, rather than trying to be polished all the freaking time. When I first started teaching, I wasn't the perfect veteran teacher. I didn't know a damn thing about how to be the great influence I was striving to be for these kids, how to be the great role model I was striving to be. That all starts from zero. And so I had to remind myself that I don't know everything, and I can't do everything, and that is okay. And when I, let go of the unknown and put in my trust in myself and in God and in my students, I'm not teaching anymore. But now I'm able to reflect and be proud and so happy that I took that leap of faith and just trusted in what was unraveling by doing things day by day, imperfectly. That was honestly, now I look back, the perfect way I would have wanted to teach or be, so I remind myself when it comes to content creating or even being a mother. Like, we don't wake up, we're not born knowing how to do all these things, but you have to start from somewhere. It's going to look ugly at first, but the more you do it, the more you get better at it and you find your flow state. So I've just been trying to let things be messy, unfinished, and let things evolve through time on their own. And it's okay for me to have high standards over myself, you know what I mean? But sometimes the high standards, it could do too much, you know what I mean? That could hold you back. And it was definitely holding me back for the longest. YouTube and my podcast right now, guys, do you see my first video was uploaded 2 years ago? I wasn't consistent because of perfectionism, or yeah. I used to wait until I was fully ready. I felt like emotionally or whatever. I felt like I needed all the materials or whatever. Like I need to know exactly what I was saying. Like, no, it does not need to be that. I wanted things to look perfect, and that is what held me back. Now I'm learning to let that shit go and just do it. Just do it. Whatever I produce and whatever I put out, it will reach the people it needs to reach out to. It will resonate with those it's meant to resonate with. And that is all that matters. Like, that's all that matters. Another major point. Unlearning that I need to explain myself to be understood. Oh my gosh. This is something I'm still struggling with, and I have really grown to learn that not everyone is meant to fully understand you, and that is okay. That doesn't make you wrong, how you feel wrong, invalid, or anything. A lot of times that has to do with where they're at currently within themselves. And I had to let go of my boundaries, my no's, my choices, not needing an entire freaking paragraph attached to it. Like, I didn't have to go through a rabbit hole of explaining myself, like, and I feel like I would do that to defend myself, but also, like I said, to be understood, to avoid conflict, to avoid judgment. But people are going to judge you if they want to judge you. They're going to misunderstand you if they want to misunderstand you. And like I said, sometimes it has nothing to do with you. And that has always been very hard, especially as someone who is very hyper vigilant and and reads through people's body language, their tone, facial expressions. Like, I read too deeply into things, and that used to affect me a lot. And that also made me feel like I need to over explain myself. Through all the healing I've done through my 20s, we're going to do continuously. I'm going to continuously heal. I know that. But the healing I've done so far, I've definitely learned that it is okay, or I have to be okay with being misunderstood by people who are committed to seeing me as a past version of myself. And the more I started to grasp that, the more I started to make my circle smaller, because I don't want to be around people who are only going to see me for freaking high school Aisha or middle school or childhood Aisha. Like, I'm not that person anymore. And sometimes that just reflects on where they're at in their own growth healing journey. And we're all at our own pace, and that is okay. But I don't need to surround myself around that. And if I am surrounded by those people frequently, whether at work or at home or whatever the hell, I have to know that it's okay. It's not a reflection of my worth or my value. And not everyone is going to want to understand. Some people will just have their own perception or their own perspectives on things, and that's okay. We're all different people. And quite frankly, being a mom and pregnant now, like, I just don't have the energy to over explain myself. I don't have the energy to give, to feed into that. My energy is needed elsewhere, within myself and for my kids. I learned that I don't have to explain my choices, my reasonings, my thoughts to anyone anymore. I don't have to over explain them, you know? I can simply give them, say, one or two sentences, and that's it. If they don't want to understand, they don't have to. Obviously, like, there's some things that need more, you need to elaborate on more, but as far as like doing it to be seen, or like to defend myself or whatever the hell, it's just not always necessary. And also, I've learned that not everyone needs or deserves access to my reasonings, because some people will just misunderstand you just to do it, like I said. And if they do, I'm not going to rush to correct it. I don't need to. Like, we don't need to overexert ourselves, overextend ourselves anymore. Whoever is meant to understand or wants to understand, they will. And if they don't, you know who to weed out. See ya. Okay, last one. One I'm also still kind of struggling with a little bit. But you know what? It's okay. Some things are going to be harder for us to unlearn. Some things will be easier. And this just happens to be one that I'm still unlearning. Unlearning over functioning in relationships. I feel like this is very much so in romantically and familial. It used to be. I always felt like I had to be the one who carried the emotional weight, plan things so other people wasn't heavy for other people, fix or smooth things over so that the other person would feel more at peace. People pleasing, people pleasing. I now realize I don't need to step in to fix things anymore. It takes two to tango, baby, and I'm not going to be the only one doing it. It's not going to be one-sided. I know that's for sure, because I'm the one left depleted and drained and unhappy. And most times when you are always, overcompensating in that way, people get used to you doing that, and they feel like they don't have to give the same amount of effort. I used to, and still sometimes confuse like love with effort or sacrifice and holding things together. Now, I know you're going to sacrifice, right? That's natural, but there is over sacrificing. You don't need to give completely all of yourself to receive what you deserve. And I felt like the more I did, the more effort I gave, the more reciprocity it would bring. And that wasn't always the case at all. And attachment styles, that comes into play too. Like, I had an anxious attachment style, and my partner, he has more of an avoidant one. So the more I push, the more it pushes him away, because that disrupted his security. That made him feel like I was taking, instead of what I thought it was giving him, it wasn't being received in that way, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'm just trying to learn to stop caring more than my own share. I need to do what only I need to do, and I can't do the work for two. or for 3, whatever, like, I just whatever it is I'm doing that involves other people, I need to do whatever I need to do and let them show up or don't show up. And if they don't, I need to remove myself, because this over functioning, it leaves me again depleted, resentful, honestly, and unseen. And that's just not what I want to be feeling anymore. It's very important for us to sit back rather than step in immediately and be like that savior complex. I definitely lived in that so much, and just allow people to meet me where I am or not meet me at all. Like, if you're not willing to step up in the way I need you to, like I would for you, then what are we doing? So instead, I am trying to be better at letting people show me who they are rather than overcompensating. Actions really do speak louder than your words. And I am struggle with that so much because I am someone who gives the benefit of the doubt. I see the good in people. I see the potential. But how many times am I let the potential hurt me? How many times am I going to allow myself to be in some sort of waiting period and hoping that things change? And again, me doing for the both of us, or for our whole family, or for my peers at work, it's not benefiting me at all. They're just the ones benefiting from it without having to do anything at all. Without having to do anything. Period. So I've learned that love or value, acceptance doesn't require me to exhaust myself, overexert myself to earn those things. Respect. It doesn't I don't have to do any of that to even earn respect. Like, yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of things like that I'm sure a lot of us have unlearned or learning to unlearn through our 20s, but those are some things or those are some key things I know for sure I have been unlearning through my 20s. And it's crazy to think that I'm like literally in my late 20s now, which is, I don't even want to think about it. Like, that is not okay. That is, life moves fast, y'all. So it is like, to me, it's so important that I'm unlearning these things now before I step into my 30s era. Got about 3 more years, y'all. And I don't want to be stuck in things I don't need to be stuck in anymore, and patterns and mindsets, or I don't want to be stuck in things that don't need to leave me unhappy anymore? So yeah, I'm not unlearning things all at once. Y'all, I'm 7 years in my 20s era. I'm 27. I'm just trying to unlearn them in a softer way, more patient way with myself, and giving myself time and space to really reflect and learn through the unlearning. So yeah, if any of this resonated with you, please let me know below. I'm sorry if this is all over the place. Y'all know ADHD, pregnancy brain, it being a Monday, don't mix. But I appreciate you guys so much for being here with me and just listening. I hope this reaches who this needs to reach. And yeah, and until next time, we out.